Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the entertainment stage at Advertising Week Europe. Elad was so excited to start this session that he actually ran up here on stage because he is ready to give you lots of insights about everything you need to know about what lives beyond the algorithm. So please put your hands together for Elad.
Thank you very much.
Perfect. Elad. Let's start with the big picture here. So media buying is pretty much automated these days. So why are we suddenly talking about creativity?
So it's not suddenly. Meta, Google have spoken about it for years. I've been at Meta a few years ago. I've said it to brands and agencies that I used to work with. TikTok was all the time around creative, so it wasn't a sudden thing. And when you think about it, privacy regulations, loss of signals made everyone move up the funnel. So people wanted to deal more with upper funnel initiatives. Meta developed Reels. TikTok became stronger. So creative was always there. But the thing is that all of the changes that came because of privacy regulations, because of the big platforms decided to deprecate demographics and keywords, made creative the core of everything. And when you think about it, even in our day-to-day interaction with the big platforms, creative is extremely important, and it's an extremely important signal. Like, I'm sure everyone here that are using Instagram or TikTok, whenever you're watching like a video, let's say that you're posing for 3 seconds on video of ideas for vacation in Bali. How's your feed going to look like for the next few days? It's going to be all Bali. So creative became a massive signal for everything, and the algorithms are now highly impacted by creative.
So you mentioned a study to me when we were standing backstage around media spend that surprised me a little bit. So share this with the audience and tell us what's happening.
Okay. So we at Allison did a study. We measured how much media spend is going for underperforming creatives. So we ran the study on close to 200 brands, 90,000 creatives, over $500 million spend. And we found that 55% of media goes to underperforming creatives. And it's not even close to the average. So more than half of the media spend, and we know that also from external studies, and I'm happy to share it with you later on. But we know that half of the media spend goes to underperforming creatives. Some platforms, the numbers are even higher. Some platforms, it's 53. But on average, 55 of media spend goes to underperforming creatives. And no one is happy about it. When we are collaborating with platforms like Meta, TikTok, LinkedIn, Google, they are not happy about it, and they also want to solve it because this situation, which is kind of like the norm right now, is not ideal for anyone.
Okay, so brands aren't really getting the best out of their media buys at the second. So you mentioned something which is a creative genome.
Yeah.
You know, that sounds like you're in DNA, but so for those of us in the crowd who think this man may not be in DNA, what does it mean?
So Creative Genome, we treat creative like a massive data set. And every time that we are seeing creative, we immediately translate that into thousands of different elements. And every video, image is immediately translated to over 5,000 different categories. Now, like the DNA, every DNA part can appear differently. Same goes to creative. And when you can break creative into all of these elements, you can immediately start to correlate every single bit with Are they helping us achieve what we want from our media spend or not? Should we use this color? Should we use this voice? Should we present product on the table, on a shelf? So instead of doing the guessing and the gut feeling, we go into science and we treat creative now as a massive data set with thousands of different data points.
So that's really interesting. So you're taking what we sometimes think of as a kind of gut feel process, intuitive, and you're trying to treat it in a scientific way.
Yes and no. So I don't want to lose the gut feeling. I don't want to lose the human brilliance. I don't want to lose the ideas. And I don't want everyone to create the same creative, not at all. And again, like DNA, every human being is different. We need to understand everyone with their bespoke taxonomy or bespoke data set. But can we take science, can we take data and validate some ideas? And maybe, like every decision in our life, sometimes it will justify it, and sometimes it will say, you know what, the gut feeling was good, but actually data shows something different. And in some cases, it's not even a gut feeling. Let's take things that are small, like where are you placing the logo or the text or which colors you're using. Sometimes it's just a random decision that made randomly by a graphic person. And what if we can add data to that? It's not even a gut feeling. It's things that are very black, white, green, red. We can add data to that, and it's not even coming to the gut feeling. So keep the human brilliance, but definitely, and I think it's everyone's responsibility, to bring the data to support it.
So I guess I'd ask, where do agencies fit into that? It feels like agencies have had a pretty tough year. I think actually the figure is agencies in this market lost around 15% of their headcount. If media buying's increasingly automated, brands are moving their, building their creative in-house, and AI can make creative much more easily, what role do agencies play?
I actually think that today can mark the comeback of agencies, and I'll explain why. For years, and I've been on the other side, I've been at Meta. So for years, yes, media buying has become extremely easy. Like now you just need to have like an internet connection and a credit card. So maybe you don't need the expertise in running media. Creative generation is also very easy. But the problem is that now you have everyone running media like crazy, and they're throwing all of the creatives there because it's very easy to generate creative. You need to have the adult in the room that will say, you know what, we are now can see creative, we can see data, we can see media spend, and we know it's so complicated because, again, we can analyze thousands of different elements at Allison. That means that every creative contains a lot of data, and we can make it even more complicated because the data changes when we're changing platforms, when we're changing audiences, when we're changing step of the funnel, when we're changing even optimization goal. So you need to have someone that can analyze all of these things, can understand creative from a data point of view before creative is starting to spend any dollar, understand it when it's running and what you need to change, and obviously take the data afterwards and already think about the next brief from a data standpoint. Obviously, it can be done by brands in-house, but I think, and we are working with a lot of agencies that are doing that. And it brings a lot of enthusiasm to the room. And I think with creative analytics, agencies will be much more needed right now than a few years ago.
So if that's how things are going to unfold for agencies, which sounds great because we do want agencies to be needed.
Definitely.
What does the modern marketing organization look like then? What does the brand setup look like?
One thing that I used to see when I was at Meta, and I'm still seeing right now, is that still you do see silos. You do see the media team work in one floor, and the creative team works in another floor, and the BI team works in a different floor, and they don't meet. and they don't talk. And sometimes brands work with creative agency, and they're getting the creative and handing it over to the media agency, and the media agency is running it, and there is no discussion. Modern organizations, brands or agencies will need to bring everyone to the same room, to the same floor, have the discussion on the same data set. Obviously, everyone can ask different questions, and they should. Media team should ask different questions than the creative team, but they need to work on one data set and make sure that there are no silos. And the media team can now come to the creative team and tell them, you know what, I actually think that the yellow coat doesn't work, not because I don't like yellow coat, because data says that green coat work better than yellow coat.
I think it's interesting that with so much discussion about data and AI, actually so much of it comes back to very human things like the setup of our organizations, no silos. So if a brand's sitting in the room going, how do I get this right? Where do they start? What does good look like, right now? What would you say?
So good looks like, again, when there are no silos. Good looks like where you are mixing gut feeling with data. Good looks like where you're asking the right questions. One of the problems, I think, with AI is that we have all of the data. And we have all of the ability to analyze and create, but sometimes people don't ask the right questions. So you also need to have the people that can challenge, that can ask the right questions, that are not falling into the hype of we need to test something because it's new, but you need to ask the right question. Does this creative or method or channel helping me achieve eventually the business goals?
And Elad, we're almost out of time. We've got a couple of minutes left in this quickfire conversation. So if there was one thing that you want everyone in the room to think about later today, take away from this conversation, what would it be?
So the one thing, and again, as I said, we are hearing that for many years, but I think everyone are now feeling that, is that creative is the most important thing when it comes to auction, when it comes to opportunities in the auction, when it comes to giving you better auction opportunities. And there is a way to win with creative if you're turning creative into data and understanding creative like never before. So make sure that everyone understands that creative is their role. It doesn't matter if it's only the creative team or the media team or the BI team or the CMO or even the CFO. We all need to be obsessed with creative and obsessed with the data behind the creative.
Look, Elad, I think it's pretty exciting having someone in 2026 saying things like creative is still the key differentiator.
100%.
Agencies really matter, and ultimately, it's humans working together better that will really make things work. So with that in mind, I want to thank Elad. We're going to be back here in just under 1 minute. Please don't leave your seats because we have a great conversation next with Daniel Sturridge. Stay where you are, and in 1 minute we'll be back. But for now, please put your hands together for Elad.
Thank you very much.